And gradually we go deeper and understand how deeper the problem is. How deeper the problem is. Of the default mind takes over, and it is all because of the mind is searching happiness outside. It doesn't want to leave. If it doesn't want to leave, then we have lot of problem. Then we have lot of problem. Now see that you learn intellectually everything. Just for a while, you learnt everything intellectually. Intellect says, I understand, but the mind does not follow it. So you see the understanding, or you can say cognitive understanding, intellect. But the mind continues to be the same. How our masters have recognized this, I don't know. But they have really recognized in a with clarity that intellect, the knowledge can transform me only if the mind changes. Mind changes means what? Mind changes means what? Mind follows the knowledge. Otherwise, what happens? The mind follows the, the ignorance. Otherwise, mind follows the ignorance. And what is that ignorance? First, you have many layers. Ignorance. That is what we discussed. Unripe ego, default mind, impulsive nature, searching peace, searching happiness in the world outside. Searching happiness in the world outside. Look at it, mind and intellect. Now question is again, we are understanding. Question is again, what is the why mind does like this? Why mind does like this? It is impulsive in nature. And that impulsive and instinctive mind is a necessary evil. It is necessary, but it is evil, it is bad. Why it is necessary? So you see now why it is necessary. Because to survive at the time of the birth. Look at all the animals. Animals survive by instinct, not by intellect. Do you see that animals survive by impulsive nature, by instinct, not by the free intellect? Take an example, we start crying, we didn't learn the language at the time of the birth. So our crying is impulsive. We cry to change the bed, we cry to change, we give me the food, we cry for fear. You see that? We cry for fear, for food, for safety. This is the instinctive nature. But the animals continues to do so. Animal nature continues to do so throughout their life, not humans. If humans do, we say, you are a foolish guy. Do we say animals, you are foolish? Do we say to animals, oh, look at this foolish animals? Okay. Now, no, we don't say, because the dog keeps on repeating. My pet dog keeps repeating the same thing again and again. I show him the bite of food and he jumps, ready. So I am foolish. Mind is foolish, not I am foolish. Mind is foolish if we keep on repeating the same thing. So now the master says, why you repeat anxiety, anger, reaction, blame, complain? Why? Why you react? Why you repeat? So now we have entered into the intellect. Why you repeat the same anxiety? This is intellect. The intellect asks the question, why we repeat? But if intellect intellect says, let us have an understanding. Intellect says, let us find the cause and effect. You see, the systematic approach. That is what the Eastern wisdom is. So intellect says cause and effect. Why anxiety? Anything. Why anxiety, anger, blame, complaint. So the root cause is binding desire. You see that? That is what we are understanding. Root cause is the binding desire. Why binding desire? Because of likes and dislikes. Because of likes and dislikes. So my definition of happiness is based on likes and dislikes. I like, hence I want. That want is a desire, and because of continuity, because of repeat likes, I am attached, and I forget to see if happiness is located outside. You see that? See the clarity. Happiness is located outside. For animals, it is located outside. It is located outside. They cannot. So this is known as the cognitive understanding. Now ask. Okay. Ask next time when I have anxiety, I will become aware of the mind, or you can say the foolish mind, searching happiness outside. This is awareness. I'm anxiety, I'm reacting. So the intellect gives you the feedback. Searching happiness because of expectations. Because of expectations of happiness outside. So you have to contemplate, you have to follow each and every step the way the master our knowledge says. Why? That is what any science is. You want to study physics and you don't want to know the what is how the cell is formed in physics. No, don't distract your mind. Focus. That is what the focus is here. We talk of the focus. So because of expectations, I now anxiety, anger. Let me examine. Let me examine my anger, my anxiety, my frustration, my busyness, my reaction, my blame, my complaint. You will find one common factor. You will find one common factor. What is the common factor? First, I am related to the world in habitual way. I am related to the world in a habitual way. Why? What is that habitual? I have a past impression that 1 billion will make me happy. That impression is already there. So that impression causes likes of 1 billion. It also has the opposite. What is that? If I don't get, so I have a fear. You see that. Can I see it clearly? So when I say can I see it clearly, that any desire in the world has opposites. I start with a like, but opposite side is dislike. Means whether I get it or I do not get it. Think. Now I have anxiety, I have fear, I have blame, I have complaint, I have reaction. My intellect says, according to the Eastern wisdom, oh, I'm into anxiety reaction. Okay, let me find out. There are two sides of the same coin. Let me find out two sides of the same coin or same desire. Marriage. This is another example. I take it as a certification of happiness. So now, because I like marriage, why? Mind says because of maybe sexual gratification, maybe emotional security, maybe you find out, maybe mental relationship, find out. Maybe forget about the spiritual. There is nothing about the spiritual. Now I'm seeking physical gratification, emotional security, mental relationship that defines my happiness. That defines my happiness. So now what happens? Now at this point, if mind recognizes these satisfactions come and go, they do not stay. Now I'm taking another point. They do not stay. They do not stay. It also depends on you, it depends on the partner. So now you are frustrated because you cannot satisfy, or the other cannot satisfy the both the sides of the coin. But we forget to recognize the problem. What is the problem? The problem is likes and dislikes, then attachment, then now the word delusion comes. What is delusion? What appears true? What appears true? Marriage will give me happiness. Marriage will find happiness where it is located. Where it is located. Hence I will search for it. Now you see what is the delusion part. You are looking for emotional security, mental relationship, and physical. So, is there happiness in all of them? Is there happiness in emotional security, mental relationship? Tell me. Ask yourself. So, mental relationship or sexual satisfaction? No. But why no? Why no? It has a period. It starts and ends. Anything. It starts and ends. But why it starts and ends? Because it has a beginning and it has an end. How can you say? Can you live in emotion? For example, first take the emotional relationship. Sexual is very clear. You cannot do sex 24 by 7. Can you live in emotional relationship 24 by 7? You have many things to do. You have many things to do. Another part, after all, nature puts you in sleep. Nature puts you in sleep, so there is no emotional relationship, no mind. So it has in beginning, it starts and finish. So because of this I get agitated. So agitation remains. Sense of incompleteness remains. Are you understanding? Sense of incompleteness remains. Tomorrow again I will love my honey. Day after also. This day after never comes. It doesn't mean that we will throw them out. That is another part. So first we are going deeper. So mind in delusion. That is why we say mind in delusion has binding desire. And the binding desire, because of, either you say because of likes, the dislike comes with it. Because I have fear. If I say to my honey, I love you, and honey comes to me, it has every day you say it, I hate you. Finished. So my happiness depends on others. That is what we say, attachment and detachment, and then we fall into delusion. Now what happens, because of the delusion, we also create a pride or unripe ego. What is that unripe ego? I possess my honey or partner. That is ego, unripe ego. I possess because if I possess whenever I want happiness, I will get it. So, can I possess anything in the world? Anything or any person in the world? Answer is no. I cannot possess. House is this house is going to leave me. Even in deep sleep, everything is left. Can I possess? So now what happened? What is happening now? The intellect is searching, understanding the mind. The intellect is understanding the mind. That understanding by cause and effect, and that cause and effect leads to what we say cognitive understanding. Cognitive understanding. Now, see, what is this understanding? Understanding is knowledge. It is, what is this understanding? It is awareness, it is consciousness. Simple. Now, if you use the word, it is self awareness. Let us use it. Different words are used. It is self awareness. Now, in this self awareness, the mind is working and the intellect is working. Allow intellect to work in the mind. In the mind, what it means. Again, I'm saying what it means. Why the meditation mindfulness is known as effortless process. So I am aware, I'm aware, I'm aware. What I'm aware? A feeling of anxiety in the mind. But I have an understanding, or you can say self awareness. What happens with the self awareness? What happens with that? What happens with that self awareness? Before anxiety takes me over, causes delusion and experience of discomfort, it dissolves. You say it dissolves, it drops by itself. The crazy mind says, no, see, you have to listen to it again and again and create your own pattern. The crazy mind says how it is possible that anxiety drops by itself. In Gita, our Master Krishna says it is false. What is false? Anxiety. So, what do you mean by false? False does not exist. How come? We say, like water in the mirrors. Water in the mirrors. I am still searching water in the mirrors. One thing, one option. Or I want to I want to dry the water in the mirrors. I'm using different word. I want to dry the water in the mirrors. The master says, are you foolish? Are you foolish? There is no water. So there is no water, there is no anxiety, there is no anger, there is no blame, there is no complaint, there is no reaction. This is what the Krishna says to the Arjuna. Krishna said to Arjuna in 18 chapters. We need to cross all the 18 chapters to completely get rid of the ignorance. Then the Arjuna says, my goodness. Arjuna says, I was deluded. It is all delusion caused by ignorance. Now I have wisdom, and I have wisdom. I am ready to fight. Think, 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 think. My master used to say, he always used to translate. He never said viveka. He said just think, 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 think. Continue to think. Reach to a point where you equate water with anxiety, in the water in the mirrors, with anxiety, blame, complaint, reaction, and check inside with the self-awareness that anxiety is gone. There is no anxiety. There is no anger. There is no expectation. But this has to be repeated again and again and again and again. So when we repeat again, the first thing that our intellect sends the strong belief, faith to the mind, it is due to the ignorance. It is due to the delusion. The world outside, the conclusion is, the world outside is not the cause of my suffering. It is ignorance. Or you can say it is ignorance or six enemies, including desire, attachment, etc., etc., etc. So we have gone on the ultimate truth. Now in between there are many challenges. And those challenges are transformed or dissolved or dropped by different principles and practices in the Eastern wisdom. Now continue further. Okay, I have understood what to do. What to do? Question asked. What to do? When to do? Why to do? That comes. So every master, I would say every master, maybe more than 3,000 masters says Mangalacharan. Mangalacharan are also of three types we discussed in Vichar Sagar. So whatever you like, Sarvesham Swastir Bhavatu, Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu, Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu, Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu. So if your mind is charged with emotion to recognize the higher truth, follow this higher truth. Your mind wants to put a logic on a given day. Follow Sat Asato Ma Satgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Mritangamaya. And your mind is clear, calm. It appears looking within. Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham. You can change it. You can do that, but it is always good to do one at least with. Now, how to do question is how to do. That is what I explained you how to do. I said Mangalacharan and mantra. You repeat three times. Three times meaning, and then contemplation and reflection. Contemplation and reflection means that you think, according to my master, you think and think and think. Think what? To bring cause and effect relationship in the intellect, so that to move to the mind. So say for example, you wake up in the morning. Example, you wake up in the morning. You are awake. Do you remind you must practice Mangalacharan every day? If not, the default mind is working. No, even if you are calm, default mind is working. We have to get rid of this default mind. So now you see that the first point, do you remember every day? Second point is commitment and sincerity. Third point is the goal of life is end of suffering and awakening. So, do you remember every day? What do you remember? I have to bring an end to the suffering and I have to awaken to myself. Hence, second point, commitment and sincerity. Let me start Mangalacharan. Or your mind says, let me do the worldly activities first. You are lost. You are not in a self-awareness mode. I woke up today in the morning and just thought, close my eyes. So now I need not to think that do I remember. It is natural. Just eyes are closed. That means goodbye to the world in that awake state. Sarvesham mentally swastir bhavatu. So my intellect along with my mind perceive happiness is within me, calmness, peace is within me, and a sense of completeness is within me. I am in the state of auspiciousness. Why auspiciousness? That is the nature of the word. The word offers me an opportunity to be auspicious, to be to find that sense of completeness, to find that sense of permanent peace. So what it happens? The mind changes. The mind gets the message. Mind gets the message. What message it gets? That happiness and peace are not outside. Not outside. The intellect or knowledge is applied. So knowledge applied is wisdom. That is what the Eastern wisdom. So knowledge applied means now I wake up, I go to the restroom mindfully. Now see that. I go to restroom mindfully. I go to kitchen mindfully, recognizing mind needs a cup of coffee. For example, just think. So what you are repeating every day, your mind goes to the kitchen, mindfully recognize mind needs a cup of coffee. No problem, you drink it. But then what happens after a few days? After a few days, your mind says, I am okay to take a cup of coffee or not. I am okay in both the cases. Your habit that was sitting in the default mind is gone. C4 in the default mind is gone. Did you try? No. Did you try? No. Did you focus on changing your habit? No. Then what is the realization? Okay, this is impulsive nature. This belongs to ignorance. This is what happens. Then the realization is this habit is ignorance, delusion. I can do without coffee. I even take, especially on Mondays after the first meeting, now I have 1 hour of gap. So I go and prepare a cup of coffee and I take it. But someday I'm so much absorbed, I don't go there. Does not make a difference. I'm okay with both. I'm okay with the both. Just think. Think. I didn't try to stop it, but it stopped by itself. Same way, anxiety, reaction, blame and complaint will dissolve by itself. Perhaps our masters have done this, had done this, and they recognize that is why they wrote these principles. And they have tried over again and again. Shame. We are already doing the practice, if you say. Knowledge is not practiced. You are Michael, finished. Oh, should I practice that you are Michael? No. This is what we are doing. But still, I say it for a right reason, the wrong statement. It is a knowledge practice. In the knowledge practice, you are already in the state of mindfulness. Your mind may be going back into the memory lane and realizing that I was in anxiety because of this. Here is a point of awareness. It is gone. Oh, in that also my honey, I was upset with the honey, but there is no reason to be upset. You might be experiencing, you might be realizing it. That recognition and realization puts you into a mindfulness. So you see that we have to start from somewhere. Why not Mangalacharan and the mantra? Say for example, you wake up. Say for example, you wake up with anxiety. You wake up with anxiety. First option. Highest option. You become simply aware it is a thought of anxiety. I am neither a thought of anxiety. I am also not anxiety. Give reasons. It is a thought. I am not a thought. I am not a thought. Second reason, it is my experience. Very natural, it is my experience. I am separate from my experience. What a great way our masters have put it. Why? I cannot experience anything in the world if it is not separate from me. Are you understanding? Experience has to be separate, and that leads to the principle of seer and the seen, observer and the observed. So by intellect, I hammer the mind. Please understand, you are not your experience. Now, you are not your experience first. You are not your thoughts. Two, you are not your emotions. Three, you are not the known. You are not the known. But you are You are who knows. Who knows? And who knows is a knower. Who knows is a knower. So the anxiety without identification of the I-ness cannot exist. It simply drops. Now this anxiety has no I-ness to hold on. Hold on to. Are you understanding? Not hold on to. What happens? It drops. Why it drops? Because it is made up of delusion. What is that delusion? Water in the mirror. And we keep on saying anxiety management, anger management. Unnecessary management. So when you are doing anxiety management, anger management, you keep your anger, past impressions of anger and anxiety in your mind, and then you manage. It cannot be managed. You cannot manage. Finish. You simply cannot manage it. This is the highest option that I gave you. And the second option is recognition. What is that recognition? That second option? What is the second option? That I should be aware, recognize. I am in anxiety, so let me awaken to peace within me by Mangalacharan and mantra. Depending on the state, you cannot say, you should not believe that you are full of stress, so you cannot awaken to the higher state. On a given day, every person is in a higher state of awareness. That was the first option. Second option, recognize that I am in anxiety. At least I should recognize. Impulsive mind does not do that. Intellect must recognize. Intellect must cognize it. You cognize it, you start the practice, and you move peace and happiness, peace and the joy in the default mind until you experience that peace and the joy. Continue doing it, keep doing it, and until the anxiety is dissolved, keep doing it. There are many options, but I am going for the options that you preferably likes. But in between there are many other options, but I'm going for just for you, the third option. The moment you have anxiety, blame, complain, upset, frustrated, you start breathing. You already know whether it's a quick fast, whether it's a deep silent and slow, any type of breathing. You have to breathe. It depends on you breathe, whether it is deep, silent, and slow, whether it is fast, whether it is simple awareness of the breath. All have their own until mind declares you are in peace. We claim the breathing helped calmness. No, breathing removed the delusion from the mind to reveal calmness already present. Calmness already present. If the breathing brings the calmness, then all our athletes are only full of peace and happiness. All people, those who do, uh, all our, what you can say, then the dog must be calm because their breath rate is 50 and 55. Dog, see, dog breathes about 45 to 55 breaths a minute. We did not check the breath rate of a fly, lives for hardly a few days, or some insects. But we have a conclusion that, what conclusion? We have a conclusion that those people who breathe, whose breath rate is slow, deep, and silent, their lifespan is more. Like turtle who lives for 150 years. And our masters, perhaps they have found out that the breath rate of a turtle is in between 3 to 5 breaths a minute. So when I say deep, silent, and slow breathing, you simply bring your breath rate from 21, 24 to 5 or 10 for a 5 to 10 minutes or 15 minutes. Anxiety is gone. Stress is gone. Frustration is gone. Anger is gone. Why it is gone? Not because of the breathing, but because you remove the ignorance. Step by step, work on this. We have, yes, we have 48 hours. Just remember, work inside and see what happens. Yes, yes.